Dimensioning. We've already done some dimensioning as you see over here. We're going to clean up the dimensioning and we're going to create a different type of dimensioning. Architects always like tick marks. They like numbers on top of it, in the middle of it. See how it's on top, in the middle. When you're looking sideways, you bear to the right, and again, it's on the right. Tick marks always go from the top right-hand side to the left-hand side, 45 degrees. And when you have dimensions that don't fit, you pull it out with a dot and a line. It comes out. This is the way architects like it. So let's clean up this dimension. We typically like to have one overall dimension to the outside like this one. Then we like to have another dimension to the center of the window. So I'm going to do annotate. And I can use this line or aligned. So I'm going to use aligned using this line and that line. And I like to go about right there. All right. Now, my dimension lines are a little bit too big. So I want to make them a little bit smaller. So I'm going to click on my dimension line. On the property, it says 3/32 dimension line. I want to edit and create an extra type, which means duplicate. So first you click edit. You must duplicate, otherwise you're going to create a mess. Duplicate. Now I want to create 2/32. So 2/32, which is essentially 1/16. Okay. So 1/16. So every time I see 3, I'm going to change it to 2. Every time you see 3, you're going to see 2. So when you're making it smaller. So I want to make this 1/16 of a gap to 1/32, perhaps. So then, so you want to go continuously 2/32, which is the same as 1/16. Notice when you put down 2/32, it's going to switch it to 1/16. So I'm going to keep on coming down to see where else I like to go, 1/16. And that's the dimension gap. Instead of 1/4, I want to go about half of it. I'm going to go 1/8. So remember the text was 2/32. So I'm going to change the text. The most important one is the text. Okay. And this one I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. So I'm going to make it 32nd. And I'm going to keep on coming down, see if there's anything else that I have left out. All right, so the tick mark, which is diagonal, I would like to make it smaller. So I like to make that 16th. And I say, okay. And it doesn't give it to me. So that's one of the trickiest ones. So it only has one of these options. So it has 1/16 as my option. But it's dot. I want to keep it diagonal. So I'm going to go this one, see if it works, and it should be fine. It remained diagonal. It got smaller. Here you can see the tick mark got smaller. The dimension lines got smaller. So I would like to change that one. Now that I have created that typology, I come and I see I have 2/32, which is essentially 1/16. I just kept it at 2/32 so you can compare without doing any math in your head. So I really like that as a possibility. Now what I like to do is to go to my window, isolate category, okay? And it didn't show it, so I'm going to isolate the category. And it doesn't show again, so I'm going to reset. So what I would like to do is actually I would like to change this one also to 2/32. This one to also 2/32. So it's a whole lot nicer. Notice my dimension lines are a whole lot better. And if you like, you can pull that dimension down if you like. You know, it's up to you if you like to move it down or up a little bit. I can actually move it down a little bit more, and it's a whole lot easier. Now, these equals were good, but I'm going to take them out, and I'm going to redo them in a different way. I would like to hide my construction line, so I'm going to hide category for the red lines. And I noticed that all of my dimension lines went out. So that's probably because I did all of my dimensions in the category of the red line. So that's why all of that went away. So I want to be very careful that I don't mess up any lines that are different. So I want to make sure that those lines are not going out. So I'm going to hide the elements if I want, or I should be able to hide category, but unfortunately it put all of the dimension lines in the same category. So I need to go back and reset that so that my dimension line is not done in the same category. Watch how I'm going to do this. I'm going to do alignment is fine from this edge to that edge, and I'm going to come up. I'm going to change that to 2/32. There we go. For now it's fine. Now I'm going to again hide this one category. Notice it goes away because it still recognizes it. Actually it didn't. Forgive me. All right, backtrack. Let's see if it does it this way. See? All right, here we go. Hide category. All right, notice how it didn't take away that dimension, because that dimensioning, when I was doing it, it was in the construction line dimension. So I want to actually start nice and clean with the dimensions. All right, here we go. So let's start all over. We would like to give an overall dimension at the top. In this case, it's nice and clean. So we start with that dimension aligned from this edge to that edge. We go up. Let's actually put our dimensions in 2/32 so we don't have to keep on changing. All right. So then I'm going to start the dimension over here. So dimension align 2/32 this time. So it starts from the get-go from this line to the center of this line. So it doesn't work that way. So let's do it again. Dimension linear, and it doesn't do it. So I need a center line so that it would actually do it. So I'm going to go annotate, detail line. I'm going to actually choose a center line. I'm going to choose a center line. And let's see if I have one here. Center line. And I'm going to draw a center line this way. And I'm going to pull it back a little bit. All right. Now let's try it again. Annotate, dimension, annotate, dimension from that edge to the center line, 310. Okay. Now I'm going to annotate from there to here, pull it back. There it is. So it looks nice and clean. So once I did the overall, then I gave to the center of the window. I'm going to do the same thing here. Before I start, I'm going to actually draw a center line from the center. Then I'm going to pull the center slightly in. Now I will dimension from that edge to this line, 6'4". Now one more time, dimension from there to here, pull it, bubble it out. Here you can see the overall. Now, I don't need the overall on both sides, so I'm going to erase this one. So I gave the overall up there. Now I'm going to come back and see if I can give this dimension the way it should have been. So first of all, let me clean this up because that's not clean. There we go. All right. So let's see if we can do this. I want to give it to the center of these lines. So again, annotate, detail, center line. I'm going to draw a center line from here. Pull it back. All right. Turn off this construction of this line hierarchy so it's a little bit easier. So I'm going to copy multiple from that junction to the center, to the center, to the center, And we're good to go. All right. Now we're ready to dimension. So I'm going to dimension from that edge to this edge, 8 inch. Then I'm going to continue that dimensioning to there. Okay, let's try it one more time. Erase this. There to there. Here we go. And there to there. To here. See? Okay. The bottom is a little bit tricky, so watch what I do. I go dimension this dot to this dot to that dot to here, all in one shot. Then I'm going to come back here, here. Let me be very clear to there. And again, I'm going to be pretty close there. Now what I like to do is make these 3 equal. That's why I did it separately. So I want to make it there, 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 and there. Pull it down and click on the EQ. Zoom close. And that's what it did. I don't want to see those funny numbers, so that's what I like to see. So now I like to take that 8 out and my 2 inch out. It's a little hard. See if it can, so it's a little hard. You have to zoom back and forth to take the 8 and 2 inches out. You click on the 8 and do your best so you can pull it out. Do your best to take the 2 out. You can pull it out this way or that way. Now the 3-2 works and the rest of them is okay. Now we have finished the dimensioning. Let's go ahead and turn on the line hierarchy. Makes it quite elegant. We have done the dimensioning. As I said, we do overall dimensioning on the top, preferred on one side. We do bubble from the outside in. Now we have to do some interior dimensions straight shot through. So what I'm going to do is do linear from, forgive me, we're going to do aligned. So we're going to use this line to this line to that line to this line. Bring it outside and then click. Okay. So once again, you're going to pull out the dimension 8. Click on the dot, pull out the dimension 8. Leave this EQ alone. Now we're going to do another vertical this way. So this is tricky again. We're going to do aligned from there to here. Come on all the way here to this one, that one, and let's pull this one. Okay, so it's a little tricky as you can see it. Now once I've done it, I'm going to pull the 2 out if I can, and I'm not sure where to pull it, so I'm going to pull it out this way. Pull out the 8 this way. You can pull the 2 the opposite direction if you needed to. So you're going to pull out the 1 foot 6 maybe this way, right there. Pull out the 8 this way. So now we're completely done with the dimension, and you can draw the cross section, but since this is not a real cross section, it won't let you do an actual section, but it will do a section like this. And again, you can reduce the size of the cross section. That will be covered in a different drawing. Let's bring back the line hierarchy. Line hierarchy is right there. Here's your dimensioning.